guys, it's Robin, RsIslandCrafts, and welcome to my craft room. Today, instead of my usual Friday Sew With Me video, I'm just going to go ahead and chit-chat with you a little bit about my quilt wall. As I mentioned in my Whip It Wednesday video, I'm just trying to catch up on a few of my projects so that I can really dig deep into this quilt as you go. There's a lot of different ways to do the quilt as you go, and I'd like to test them all out, but I want to make sure that I get my commissioned work and my regular projects, things I want to put in my shop, taken care of first. So I thought today we'd do a little video and chit-chat about my quilt wall. I've been hanging my small mini quilts because they don't weigh that much, so I could hang them with the Command poster strips. They were just really thin little pieces of just little command strips. It was just a rubber part that you would put on the back of the hook and stuff. So it was just enough to hold up a quilt. But I was having to use 4 of them in each part of the quilt so that you don't want the back corners. See how they're kind of like floating in the breeze here? That's not too bad. But when I had the command strips on some of the larger ones, they were really kind of curling around the edges and floating in the breeze. And it worked really good, except for every time I wanted to put up a new quilt or rearrange things to fit a new one in, then I would have to purchase all new command strips, and it was starting to get a little expensive. So then I went and I tried the next thing, and I'm going to spin you around to the other wall because I still have one of those up. You'll have to excuse the fan, but I do have this curtain rod all the way towards the ceiling, so I had different curtain rods up, and the way I put them up and the length that they were, it just wasn't working for me because then I could only hang certain quilts, and it was hard. It was easy to move them, to rearrange them, because I just have them with little clips up there, but it was hard to decide which quilt to put where, and I couldn't fit as many on as I wanted. Before I could put up 20-25 quilts, and then with these curtain rods I can only put up like 12. So I do still have these 3 hanging over my sewing machine. You can see my messy little shelf over here that I have moved into the room. I have some of my postcards. These are the fabric postcards that were made for me. This is the back of my chair. And this is where I sew. So I get to look up at these. These are really favorite quilts of mine, and I love looking up at them, and it gives me inspiration. But back over to the main wall. So I had to come up with a new way to have the freedom to put as many quilts as I want up, but also make it easy to remove them and put new ones up. I haven't painted this room yet, and my son, he's now 19, but before he moved out of this room, he had posters up everywhere. So there's already tons of holes in the wall that need to be spackled. So I thought, well, I don't want to constantly be putting holes in the wall, but since I already have to spackle it and there's already holes here, for now, let me just try this out and see if it works. Now I'm going to go ahead and take you closer, and then we'll go ahead and take a look at how I have everything hanging up. So here's my little tree art quilt. And as many of you have already guessed, I just put clear thumbtacks up. Now this right here is from when I had the curtain rods up over here. So did you see I lost all this space over here where I couldn't hang anything up unless I used this system anyways. So if I'm already going to have to put some thumbtacks up and do it, then I thought, well, I'm just going to go ahead and take the curtain rods down and do it to way I can move my quilts around and put up whatever I want. So I have clear thumbtacks in the wall. And then I just went ahead and I used binder clips. Now I only have the front up. I left the back part, the little clippy part here, I left that sitting in the back, and then I just used the front one to hang it, and that kept it hanging a little bit off of the wall. It gave it a little bit of freedom to move around with the breeze from the fan if it wanted to. Now I went with the basic layout. I just decided which quilts were the most important to me, and I really wanted to make sure that I had Susie and the Flamingo, and this blue diamond whatever one is a really popular one. You guys all love it. We will be making that next year, so you can count on a tutorial for that. I love my ticker tape quilt. Even though the person was probably a beginner quilter and it's not the best made, and I don't care, I still love it. So it doesn't really matter how perfect your quilts are. Whoever you give them to is still going to love them. And I have that hanging up on my wall. I'm really sorry about the fan in the center up at the top, but that's just how it goes when you're doing this type of video, because that's where the fan is. I have Papa Smurf because that's for my oldest son, and then I just love my quirky little rooster. And then I left myself a space back here that I can just go ahead and take these down easily and change them out. If we get a different holiday and I want to put something else here, I can just take Freedom down. I can move out these art quilts whenever I want. And then as I'm making them, like you'll see up in this area, there's an empty space. I'm going to make a little quilt that's going to fit right into that space. And then anytime, I'm kind of thinking that a lot of my quilts are going to be about the size of that spider. So once I have them all set up in a way that I can easily just take the quilts down and put a new one up, I won't even have to take out the thumbtacks. If I say, okay, I want to take out this Freedom quilt, well then I'll just take the measurements of that and figure out, well, it's this size, well I'll just make another quilt in that size. That's the best part about making your own quilts, that they can be any size you need them to be. A lot of these are actually gifts. This one is from a swap that I did way back when Flickr, the photo storage place, was really popular, before Facebook came in and ruined everything. There was this thing called the doll quilt swap, and then every quarter bunches of us to get together. I think at the end it might have been 600 or 800 people that were swapping little mini quilts. You'd send a quilt to your partner that was chosen for you. You know, you do the whole questionnaire, what do you like? You put up pictures in your Flickr album that shows, you know, the things that you like and all. And then someone would send you the little quilt, and they might send you some tea or chocolates that go with it or something. So that one is from a swap. And that's why I have to figure out the pattern for this blue diamond one, because that one's from a swap. The ticker tape, and then this one right here came with that one right there, and it was package deal. So that was from a swap. My flamingo was one that I was given as I won something on a blog, and that's what they made for me. And then this is the one you guys might remember from Barb from Bejeweled Quilts. She had a problem where she cut into the hearts with her AccuQuilt Go, and she no longer wanted it, so I won the giveaway on her blog for that, and that's what I did with it. And as I told you, Mr. Bonesy, he's just sitting up there with clothespins because I didn't want to take down a quilt just for a couple weeks and put him up and just to have to take him down and put another one up again, because he's not going to actually carry through Thanksgiving like okay, the spiders are Halloween, so he'll probably come down too. But if I had a turkey up or something, or some pumpkins, they could come down, they could stay up through Thanksgiving, and I wouldn't have to take them down right after Halloween. So that's how I'm currently hanging my quilts on my big quilt wall. I really kind of like to have the mini quilts. I really like these small little art quilt guys here. This is what I'm really into at the moment. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll have seen my pumpkin that you've seen finished on Wednesday. I've almost finished my unicorn one, and that's up on Instagram too. That's the best place to see pictures of what I'm working on right now. I'm trying to maybe put up a daily picture, or at least every couple days, to show what I'm working on, just to keep it updated. But this has been like this for what, maybe a month or two? I don't remember. I'd have to go back and check my Talk to Me Tuesday videos, because this is where I film in front of. And I really like the way this is. It's very easy to take something down and put something new up. I really wish I had more walls, but like I said, if I just keep making the small art quilts, I'll have plenty of place to put those. And in case you want to see what I'm working on today, I'll come down really slow so we don't get seasick here. And the green came in for my monsters quilt. So this is close to the true color. It might be just a little bit, what you're seeing might be a little bit darker than what I'm seeing, but I think it works out really well with these blocks. So I've done my sashing, and I'm also going to do sashing underneath. And then I've decided to get the right size that I want, I'm going to have a narrower top and bottom border, and then on the sides I'm going to go a little bit wider. I'll have to look at my measurements, but I think it's something like maybe 2.5 up top and 4 on the sides. We'll see. And that'll give me a nice lap size quilt for a child or an adult if they like crazy monsters. So for those of you that were curious on how I am working on my quilt wall, that's the way it is right now. It is coming up probably after the first of the year. I'll be moving some things around. I will need some type of a snowman and a Christmas tree up there. I'd like to make a Christmas tree advent wall hanging to where I can add little decorations and little ornaments to a Christmas tree that's actually a quilt. I thought that would be really fun to put up on that wall. Maybe somewhere, maybe in this spot here, so that when I'm filming every week or every day or whatever, I can go ahead and take a picture of where I'm putting up the little ornament. So that's it for me this week. I've got to get back to that monster quilt and get that finished up. I'd like to have that at least become a top today. Until next time, you guys have a great day. Bye.